agenda for
Recording in progress.
Yep. Okay, we ready? Call the Sewer Ad Hoc Committee meeting to order for March 1st, 2022. You will please take the roll, please.
Malinowski.
Here.
Pugh.
Here.
English.
Present.
We have a quorum.
And just for the record, so everyone knows, Councilman Pugh's name is not on this agenda, but he has been appointed to this particular ad hoc committee. I don't know who he upset, but here he is. Next order of business is approval of the minutes from December 7th, 2020. Entertain a motion.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, if you'll call the vote, please.
Malinowski.
Yes.
Pugh.
Yes.
English.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next, adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any changes, additions at all? No. Okay, we'll call for the vote, please.
Malinowski.
Yes.
Pugh.
Yes.
English.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next, election of the chair. I'll open the floor for nominations.
Chair,
Yes, Mr. Pugh.
I would like to nominate the Honorable Bill Malinowski.
Second.
All right. Any other nominations out of the three of us?
We move to close the nomination.
All right, we've got a motion to close nominations. Second, and a second. Okay.
Malinowski.
Yes.
Pugh.
Yes.
English.
Yes.
Motion approved.
All right, now for the election of Bill Malinowski, if you'll call for the vote. That was the motion to close nominations. Now we'll vote for that. Okay, go ahead.
Malinowski.
Yes.
Pugh.
Yes.
English.
Yes.
Motion approved.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Congratulations, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you, Councilman Pugh. Items for action, item number 5A, modifications to the East Richland Public Sewer District, Special Purpose District Boundary, pages 9 through 19.
Sir, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir. Administrator Brown.
Yes, sir. I'll try to set the framework, and then I'll have Mr. Davis answer any additional questions that the committee may have. So on page 9 of your document, as you alluded to, you see staff's recommendation is for the approval of the proposed modifications to the East Richland County Public Service District's Special Purpose District boundary. The reason why this item is before you as a committee and ultimately County Council is because it is a ministerial function that County Council has to perform. You're the only entity that has the authority to move the boundaries if you choose. So the boundaries are being requested to be moved in order to comply with the 208 plan. And what you will see here is currently as constructed, the parcels that you're looking at are not in compliance with that plan. So this would actually do that. in terms of fiscal impact to the county, as I understand it, these funds are not impacting Richland County. So we won't be losing or gaining funds as a result if this committee and ultimately County Council adopt staff recommendation. With that, Mr. Chair, I turn it over to you for questions and ask Mr. Bill Davis, Utilities Director, to be responsive to those questions.
Colleagues, questions? There's a map that was provided to us. I asked that we be shown specifically where these items were as a whole within the county versus individually as was in our agenda. And so you can see A and B. A is the one that the county would be taking on, is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
B, we would be giving up.
Well, not giving up, just allowing the special purpose district to serve that area.
Giving it up, aren't we?
Is what?
We're giving it up, aren't we? We're not keeping it.
Well, we don't serve anything near there. It's in their 208 area.
Let me just get clarity for the record. Exhibit B, which is the one shown here, that is currently being serviced by Richland County Utilities?
No, sir, that is not being served by anyone.
Oh, it's not being served by anyone?
No, sir.
But because it is within their service area, they want to make sure that they can service it.
Yes, sir, they do.
Why would we have to pass something that the law says it's already yours? It's within their territory. Nobody's serving it. So why wouldn't they automatically just have the right to service that area?
They can service it, but they're not getting the millage. And the millage is of the administration function that we're talking about. So that millage has to be applied to those properties. It's technically within their area, but they're not getting the millage that they are due.
Okay, so this will cause the overall county to put a millage on these properties to cover this, and then that millage will be provided to the sewer district.
East Richland, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, and Exhibit A is currently being served by East Richland? It
is slated to be served by Southwest Water, which is formerly Palmetto Utilities. Because of the lay of the land, I had a question from Overture Walker regarding ability to serve in that area, and sometimes it's
okay,
like
hold that. Don't throw any more confusing stuff in here. Keep Mr. O. Walker's info there. I'm just trying to. All I want to know is Exhibit A. Who serves them right now?
One property out of those properties is being served by Southwest Water.
And the other area, nobody's serving.
And East Richland is not going to serve.
And so because it's not in the East Richland area, we need to designate who is the service provider?
Service provider will be designated by the Central Midlands Council of Governments as a subsequent change to this document. So that
is this another millage matter too?
It will be. They'll lose millage on that property because they're not serving them.
Who will lose it?
East Richland.
And they've been getting it?
Yes, sir.
Ooh, okay.
It's in their district. So it's just like a school district.
Wait, if it's in their district, why aren't they servicing it then?
Because they can't reach it.
Oh, they can't reach it. So there's some other agreement not in front of us that we're not aware of.
Well, those letters actually are the discourse between Southwest Water and East Richland as to swapping that area.
Again, why do we have to approve it if it's two other entities agreeing? It's in our service district, but we can't get to it and service it. But if you'll do it, okay, you do it. So I'm just wondering why we're in the middle again.
Because the special purpose district can only be changed by Richland County Council.
Okay, there's the answer that the administrator gave us to start. All right, I believe I've got it all now. Have I confused anyone else?
I'm confused, but I started
All
out
right,
that way.
do we really need to know what Mr. Overture Walker had to say?
No, sir.
If we don't, then just keep it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We're fine.
All right. Okay, my questions have been answered. Does anyone else have any questions or comments they'd like to make? If not, I will entertain a motion on this matter, item 5A.
Move to approve.
Second, Mr. Chair.
I have a motion and a second for approval of 5A, the modification of the special purpose district boundary. You'll call for the vote, please?
Malinowski,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
English.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay. Next, 5B, starting on page 20. Richland County properties identified for water master plan.
Yes, sir,
And
Mr.
it
Chair,
shows
members of the
two
committee.
properties there.
Again, I'll try to give a little background and I'll have Mr. Davis respond to any questions. So really what this is Utilities Director trying to take a future look at what the county may need to have and keep in its possession in the event that we pursue this route. And so what we're asking is to basically have this committee and ultimately through county council is to place these properties on hold to remain in the county's possession for the potential future use of water service. So that's really all it is. What you have identified on pages 21, I believe on 22, and Mr. Davis can speak more to that, is kind of the look of the infrastructure that he perceives being a possibility. So we've heard over the last few years, the county has various land, but sometimes, you know, we haven't designated that land and we want to make sure that we don't wind up selling this off and just not be attentive to what our future needs may be. So that's really the background of it, Mr. Chair. And again, I'll turn over to Mr. Davis for any responses to questions that you may have as a committee.
Basically, this is all property already owned by Richland County, and we want to make sure there's a hold of sorts put on it so it's not sold, hopefully, toward future development of water infrastructure.
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
Okay, questions? Ms. English?
Any questions, but I would like Mr. Davis to kind of speak to this, the potential of water treatment for us.
Mr. Davis, when we spoke earlier on the phone and you said it was on page 23, I know I didn't see it. Nobody gave me a hard copy of the agenda till now, so.
Oh, I apologize.
No, it's not you. Well, maybe it is. Go ahead, Ms. English.
I know you and I spoke earlier about the water treatment, and I guess I'm just curious because, you know, one of the things we talked about, the natural flow. Does this fit in that plan for that?
Well, I know there are some discussions that have been had by council regarding water treatment in the Northwest, and in conflict with the city of Columbia. These things would have to be decided, and that would only be decided based on council's wishes, but before council were to direct us, we would have to create a master plan. And I suggest that in our best interest that those master plans be separated between the Northeast and the Southeast. I'm sorry, the Northwest and the Southeast, because they are very vastly different and the water sources would be different. So should we pursue water treatment, the water treatment would come from Lake Murray most likely for the Northwest, and would come from the Wateree River most likely for if we decided to treat water in the Southeast.
Thank you. That clarifies a lot because in my mind, I'm thinking it's one source, but that makes a lot of difference.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. No further questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. If everyone is good, then if you'll call the vote, please. And this is to reserve the properties that we see in front of us so they're not sold by the county at this point in time for potential use as water treatment sites.
Move to approve.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Motion and a second. Now call for the vote, please.
Malinowski,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
English.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Item number 5C, project funded by grants on pages 24 through 26.
Right, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, this is going to seem a little bit broad because it is, but it is broad specific to the items that you have that are listed as kind of the priority. And what I mean by broad is what utility is asking for us to get passed through committee and council is the ability to seek and apply for any funding sources that could be utilized to address these items that you have listed here, which is the Shady Grove Pump Station rehabilitation, a 24-inch force main for Gaston Elementary to Eastover Wastewater Treatment Plant, the Eastover Water Waste Treatment Plant upgrade, a 10-inch force main from Rabbit Run to Garners Ferry Road, and then Stony Point Cedar Cove Sewer Rehabilitation Project. And so what we are asking is, instead of maybe funding becoming available and then coming to council for each time that there's an application that we could possibly apply for, is to go ahead and get approval to seek and apply for funds. And then once that's happening, we can come back and update the council and the committee that we've applied for these funds and we're looking forward to receiving them or going through that process. But that would give us the ability to be more agile in applying for funding rather than waiting for a meeting and then maybe missing a timeline just because of the way things fall. So again, it's a little broad, but specifically, these are the targeted projects, but that's why we're asking for that, especially with the flow of funding that we hope to have available over the course of the next several months.
Okay, so right now you're looking for a blanket approval to try and get free or reduced money.
That's correct.
Okay.
Always move to approve.
Motion for approval?
Second.
And a second. Any additional conversation? Yes.
Mr. Brown, what was the criteria for the prioritization priorities for these projects?
Yes, sir. Good question. So I'll give you some generic background and I can have Mr. Davis speak to the details. But if you look on page 25 of your packet, first under regulatory compliance, you will notice that we pointed out that both the Shady Grove Pump Station and then the Stony Point and Cedar Grove sewer system had some overflow. And so that gets us into an issue where, we can potentially be in trouble with DHEC, for having those overflows. So that's kind of one of the priorities. The other priorities are the wastewater treatment plant as a whole, upgrading their capacity and putting them in the position to handle the flow that we need to extend out to the community. So those are the big things there and thus the priorities.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right. We've got a motion and a second. Call for the vote, please.
Malinowski?
Yes.
Pugh?
Yes.
English?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Anything else from anyone? If not, we're up to number 6, which is adjournment.
I do.
Hold on, we've got Ms. English.
It's just a point of privilege, and I'd like to thank Mr. Davis for all your hard work. I know you came in running, but thank you. Thank you for all you do. This is an amazing job. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, so this isn't time for me to say how he didn't want to get into the hard work? No, okay. All right. Take a motion for adjournment then.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
A motion and a second. Call for the vote, please.
Malinowski?
Yes.
Pugh?
Yes.
English?
Yes.
Motion approved.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.